Did you know that Park Chung-hee, the 11th South Korean president, impeached and convicted on related corruption charges, is the daughter of the third president of South Korea, much loved and much hated Park Chung-hee. Both her parents were assassinated. And did you know that the current president of the Philippines, Bongbong Marcos, is the son of Ferdinand Marcos, former dictator who ruled the Philippines for 3 decades? Bongbong's mother emailed the Marcos as one of the accused masterminds, but never proven, of one of the most talked about and public assassinations in world history. Hi, thank you for being here. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I would really appreciate it. And also share the video if you can. Please, it's really helping. Thank you so much to everybody who's sharing it, and I hope that you continue doing it. Okay, let's go back to the video. South Korean First Lady Yook Yong-soo and President Park Chung-hee. In 1961, Park Chung-hee and his closest friends Kim Jae-kyu, Cha Ji-chul, and Kim Gae-won organized and carried out a coup d'etat against the elected government of Prime Minister Chang Myon and President Yoon Po-soon. The coup d'etat installed a reformist military Supreme Council for National Reconstruction. Park Chung-hee took over as chairman, and his reign is often credited in laying out the foundations for the rapid industrialization of South Korea, but also highly criticized for the suppression of democracy and civil liberties. Park was accused of being crypto-communist. He believed that one leader should exercise absolute power. He also exercised autocratic control, a principle that he probably picked up from his experience in the Japanese army. One of the first things Park did after assuming power was to persecute South Korean business leaders for profiting from the corruption in South Korean government. 24 of the leading businessmen were arrested. Founder of Samsung, Lee Byung-chul, escaped this treatment only because he was out of the country at that time. Park Chung-hee campaigned against foreign products such as cigarettes and foreign cultural influences such as dancing. He suppressed the media and jailed people without due process. Park also nationalized banks so he can control the flow of money in the country. He directed the money to the sectors that the government wanted to develop. All these programs had earned him more enemies and triggered North Koreans greatly. In fact, in the midnight of January of 1968, 31 North Korean soldiers crossed the border to assassinate Park Chung-hee. Dressed in South Korean military uniforms, they managed to come within a few hundred meters of the Blue House, where South Korean presidents reside. They were caught, but not before a shootout that killed 26 South Korean soldiers and civilians. The next attempt was not as bloody, but was just as fatal. August 15, 1974, as Park was delivering a speech, a gunshot echoed through the air. A man then surged towards the stage holding a .38 caliber pistol, firing several shots before being stopped. The assassin was later identified as Japanese-born North Korean sympathizer Moon Se-gwang. Park managed to take cover behind his podium, but his first lady, seated at the back of the stage, was shot in the head. She was pronounced dead the same day. While Park is known for his iron fist, the First Lady was well loved. Her 5-day funeral was a unifying moment for the nation. She was the mother people ran to for protection against the strict father. Just a little 5 years after that day, October 26, 1979, Park Chung-hee sat down to have dinner with the same men who helped him stage the coup that put him in power 18 years prior. Kim Jae-kyu was the South Korean CIA director at that time. Cha Ji-chul was the chief bodyguard, and Chief Blue House Secretary and the former KCIA Director Kim Gae-won. According to reports, President Park Chung-hee was really upset at the civil unrest, criticizing his leadership. Park was actually blaming Korean CIA Director Kim Jae-kyu for not stopping the protests. Park, according to the testimony of Kim, said that the Cambodian government had killed 5 million people and they were still in power. So if he kills 1 million, then it shouldn't make a difference for as long as it stops the protests from escalating. Kim Jae-kyu left the room and came back with a .32 caliber handgun and shot Cha, the chief bodyguard, hitting him in the wrist. And then he turned to Park, the president, to shoot him in the chest. Kim, the Blue House secretary, ran and left the room. Kim's gun actually jammed, so he left the room again before returning again, this time with a .38 caliber to finish off Cha, the bodyguard. He then turned back to Park, the president, to shoot him from behind the ear. Kim was arrested later. He was hanged on May 24, a year later. There were theories that Kim was actually jealous of Cha, the bodyguard, because Cha was fast becoming the number 2 of the president. However, in Kim's testimony, he actually gave 5 motives for killing the president. He wanted to restore free democracy. He wanted to prevent more people from getting killed. He wanted to prevent North Korean aggression, to restore the strong relationship of South Korea with the United States, and to restore the honor of South Korea in international community. Some people close to Kim said that Kim was really upset when Park promised voters that it would be his last term in 1971. Instead, Park actually broke his promise and ratified the Constitution to guarantee Park's dictatorship for life. Philippines Benigno Ninoy Aquino. If you want to know who has the biggest balls in Asia, this guy might actually had it, at least at some point. Everyone knew Ninoy Aquino was going to be assassinated. Everyone knew when it was going to happen exactly, including Ninoy himself. In fact, he told the media to be fast with their cameras.
Action can become very fast. Yes. In a matter of 3-4 minutes, it could be.
Ninoy, as he was fondly called, was the main political opponent of the 3-decade-long dictator, Ferdinand Marcos. Ninoy and Ferdinand were actually close friends in college. They belonged to the same fraternity and called each other Brad, short for brother, a nickname fraternity brothers called each other. When Ferdinand became the president, Ninoy supported him until Ferdinand refused to step down. Ferdinand declared martial law, exercised dictatorial power, and committed crimes of different sorts. Ninoy became his main political opponent. Ninoy became a political prisoner and was eventually exiled to the US. But after several years, Ninoy decided it was time to go home after hearing about Ferdinand's failing health. However, he knew he was going to be assassinated. He was so sure that he gave interviews to the media about it.
First, hoping that would be some kind of a protection, but if they hit me in the head, there's nothing.
Using a fake passport, which everyone knew as well, he headed home. He was arrested while still in the plane as soon as it landed, and as he descended the stairs, he was shot on the back of the head. It was pure chaos. Next thing people knew, his lifeless body was face down on the ground. 3 years after that day, the very first bloodless and victorious revolution happened in Asia, in the Philippines, led by the Archbishop of Manila. Inspired by Ninoy's wife, people flocked to the streets. Surrounding major military camps, Filipinos demanded the president to step down. And we won. Ferdinand Marcos was exiled to Hawaii. Naturally, many assumed that it was Ferdinand Marcos who masterminded the assassination, but many of their colleagues, people that they've worked with, journalists, experts, they know that Ferdinand Marcos was actually way too smart to not realize and know that the assassination of Ninoy Aquino would have resulted to a civil unrest and would have been the beginning of their end, which actually happened. And also, he has a cousin whose name is Fidel Ramos, who was one of the best military tacticians of all time, West Point graduate, and he had his, and at that time he was a vice chief of staff of the armed forces of the Philippines. He had his own political ambitions, and Ferdinand Marcos would have known that he would have done anything and everything within his power to take him out of the office so that he can pursue his own political ambitions, which he did. So you do have to understand that these people know each other really well. Some of them have gone way back high school, elementary, and they know each other really well. They can think, they can read each other. So all the ones that I've had the pleasure of interviewing, they don't think that it was Ferdinand Marcos. There were rumors, and these are just rumors, it was never proven, that it was actually the former First Lady, Imelda Marcos, that ordered the assassination. So yes, this is Imelda Marcos, the First Lady with like 7,000 pairs of shoes. I have like 7. 3 are unusable. She is one of the most beautiful, fashionable, and charismatic First Ladies the world has ever known. There were rumors that when Ferdinand Marcos learned about it, he actually threw an ashtray at her because he knew what was about to happen. Again, just rumors. And there were also rumors that Ferdinand Marcos actually was going to sit down with Ninoy Aquino because he knew his health was failing. And for all his faults in the first 6 years of his presidency, he was actually pretty great. And a lot of his projects are still actually being rolled out to this day. He's a long-term thinker and he really had a great vision. But his health was failing. Of course, the succeeding years after the 6th year, that was just everything went south. But yeah, his health was failing. And he wanted to make sure that there is going to be somebody that will succeed him and will continue his projects. And he knew that Ninoy Aquino is a great leader, very smart, so they were going to start their conversation there. But these are all rumors. The facts are that after that, 3 years after the assassination, Ninoy's wife, Cory Aquino, actually became the president. He was in power for 6 years, and then she was succeeded by Fidel Ramos, the cousin of Ferdinand Marcos. And then Ninoy and Cory's son also became the president, but the current president is the son of Ferdinand Marcos and Imelda Marcos, Bongo Marcos. You know what they say, we deserve the government that we elect. Okay, so these are just snippets of our history. This is not in no way are this comprehensive. So as I've said, I'm just a fan. I like reading and I like sharing, but there are a lot of other historians, journalists, writers that actually created or made more something that is more comprehensive. So I hope that this video just served to pique your interest and you can go and search for something more comprehensive. And also I hope that as painful as these 2 events or 3 events actually are, or were, or still are, I hope that it resulted to something good because it's the only way that it can make sense for any of us. Okay, so if you have any inputs, comments, requests, put them in the comment section below. You can say anything that you want to say, just be respectful. And you can get in touch with me in any of the social media links that you see on your screen right now. I enjoy conversing with you guys. If I haven't gotten to you, I will. There's just really a lot. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I would really appreciate it. And of course, share the video if you can. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Till next time.